Welcome to the Power Lunch Podcast, your midday dose of boldness, brilliance, and a little bit of badassery. I'm Amy Souza, here with my powerhouse co-hosts, Tracie Munce and Lisa Carmichael, and we're coming in hot to shake things up. Each week, we dish out bite-sized, high-impact conversations on business, health, purpose, wealth, and the wild, beautiful chaos in between. Whether you're building your dream, rebooting your story, or just catching your breath, this is your space to get grounded, inspired, and reignited. This isn't just another podcast, it's your power move. Let's go.
All right, ladies, welcome back to the Power Lunch Podcast and another conversation in the Profit and Legacy series. It's just Tracie and me again today. Amy is off. And over the last few episodes, we have talked about profit as power, profit as a tool, and legacy as something deeper than just money. Today, again, we're bringing in another essential voice, the voice from inside the banking world. Because here's the truth. You can have vision, strategy, and values, but if you don't understand how to partner with your bank, structure your cash flow, and build strong financial relationships, growth becomes harder than it needs to be. Joining us today is Pang Mee. How do you say your last name? Xiong, cash management sales officer at Bank Cherokee in West St. Paul, with over 25 years of banking experience. She is someone who believes in helping clients make smart, informed decisions and clearly understand the financial tools that fuel business growth. Beyond banking, she serves on the board of directors for a nonprofit. She is an ambassador. Well, that nonprofit is Women Venture, and she's an ambassador of the Dakota Chamber and is deeply rooted in the St. Paul community. The internal motto at her bank is great people, great bank, doing great things. I love that about Bank Cherokee. That's so real. And I think that perfectly captures what we're going to talk about today. How relationships, stewardship, and smart systems support real legacy. Pang Mee, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. And so 25 years. Tell us a little bit about what you do at the bank
Yeah.
in this season of your life.
Yeah. So thank you. I'm so glad to be here with the both of you ladies. Thanks for having me. So Pang Mee Xiong, and with many years of banking, my current role is cash management sales officer with Bank Cherokee. And today I really focus on business clients, really just understanding their needs and what products and services is going to fit for each client, right? Each client is very different. And so really just focusing, listening, understanding what each business needs are, um how do they really pay their clients, how they're looking to um service those clients, and then how do they manage their cash flow, right? So that we're setting the right products, the right tools for them, and then the right, approvals in place for them. So
Mhm.
that's really what my role is, and I love it.
I've discovered about your bank is that, well, and maybe this is true of all banks, that it's not like you go in one day and you form a relationship. It is a relationship that you nurture over time. And that's so important because there are a million banks out there. And that's why people like to bank with you. What do you want business owners really to understand about that relationship that they have with their bank?
Yeah, so it is a relationship built over time and trust and understanding, right? So it does take a lot of time, and we really just sit and really understand what that client what they're really going through. And so it's from meeting at their office to having lunch, having coffee, really knowing their team, and when things are going well, when things are not going well, right? And so it's always making that door open, right? And answering those phone calls, answering those emails, those text messages, and being available whenever they need, right? Referring them to other expertise in the field that they need, and just giving them, honest advice, honest opinions, regardless if they're gonna like it or not, right? You've got to be honest, and just having that honest conversation is really gonna really build on that relationship.
And it's definitely a banking versus a transactional banking relationship.
Correct. Yeah. It's not about, you know, making that transaction. It's not about looking at that transaction. It's really looking at the whole picture of, you know, why do we want you as a client, right? It's really looking at that relationship. How is this relationship going to be like?
Mm-hmm.
And you need to build
One
up
of the
that.
things I like about your bank or a smaller bank too, as a business owner that has worked with, the large corporate banks or the large banks that are available everywhere in the United States to a bank that's, medium size or maybe not in that higher echelon that, we see on football stadiums. What I like about that is that the relationship is so personal where I don't feel like just another next. When I walk into the bank, it's hey Tracie, and I have multiple people excited to see me. And as a business owner, that sometimes can get overwhelmed with a lot of different things going on. It's what I appreciate at a bank like yours and a bank that size is that the relationship. And you're right, it doesn't always happen right away. I also think that as a young entrepreneur, creating those relationships are really important in the beginning because in the beginning we don't need money, we don't need guidance, or we don't think that we need it. But as time comes and needs change, having a relationship with you is vital because those lean times sadly do come sometimes, and being able to have those conversations prior to them coming. What's the most common when you're listening, what's the most common cash flow mistake that most business owners are making, or that you see most, that cash flow? Because cash flow is king, right? I mean, I need to have cash coming in and going out. So
Yeah, yeah. I can't really speak about, the lending side of things, right? Because I am not an expertise on that. But as far as deposit side of things is kind of what I see is a lot of clients tend to, as they're building their business and they're really new, right? And so they meet new vendors, they meet new customers, and I think what happens is they feel like, okay, this is a good relationship. This is everything's going so well, and they're super excited. And so they start working on this deal, and they pay either half upfront or they pay a little bit more upfront for whatever that service is or whatever that product is, right? And then things turn downhill. And I think that's where the struggle happens. It's because it's a new relationship and they didn't, you know, do everything that they should have done. And so that's where they're learning is
yeah.
I should have done something different. I should have maybe paused a little bit. I should have looked for reference. I should have asked for, word of mouth. I should have asked for referrals. I should have done something differently, right? And again, it's a learning process, right? And so I do see a lot of that happening is where they've made that mistake and then now they're learning from it and they're going to take a step back and like, okay, wait a minute. It's in a relationship, so let me do something different now so I don't lose that 50% that I did last time or that 70% that I did last time.
Yeah, new businesses don't always know the questions that they should be asking.
Correct.
But having that resource of a banking associate that can say, "Hey, when you're creating, let's create together," because I have some questions that maybe you wouldn't even know to ask, especially in the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what kind of financial tools are available in that, especially for women business owners? Because we have a lot of women business owners. So, coming into the bank, what kind of financial tools are available to us that maybe we wouldn't even know that are available. We just come in to get a checking and savings account because as a business owner, you need those, right?
Yeah.
So what are some other financial tools that we could be utilizing in our day-to-day or our financial?
Yeah. So a couple of the good ones that I really love is the ACH origination, where you're that main driver. You are, able to collect all your vendor payments or all your customer payments. You're that driver, initiating those payments, collecting those payments. So you're able to change those dollar amounts. You can facilitate when they're happening. And so you can also then give your team, who can also make those payments on behalf of you, right? So you the owner, doesn't need to necessarily be,
You mean
giving that
owners
as well.
versus an operator?
Yeah, yep, exactly. So you can set up ACH origination to do all that, as well as, you can keep your account safe by adding an extra protection, by adding the positive pay and ACH alert to your account as well. So for a business owner, a lot of the business owners today, they still don't know that fraud is still a big thing, right? And especially when code happened, that was a big thing, where there's a lot of mail fraud and check fraud is still a big thing. And so with this extra protection and this tool in place, you can really protect your account by adding the ACH and check ACH alert into your account where it will send you notifications ahead of time and you'll be able to really know like what is actually posting and clearing through your account right away. So you'll be ahead of the game, right? So
That's I always look at things at the lens of as a restaurant, obviously, but there's so many different businesses that their checks are clearing in a way that that's such a great gift to be able to know what's happening in real time because knowing our numbers is the first step to profitability and profitability leads to legacy wealth. So I appreciate that. What role does discipline play in that building of legacy? That discipline of knowing your numbers, having relationships. How do you think that plays in building our legacies?
Um, so as far as building a legacy for a business owner,
Yes.
yeah. So I think it's very crucial to really right know your numbers is because how do you know if you're making a profit or not, right? How do you know what your future looks like? How do you know um if you want to continue doing what you're doing or if you need to add on more staff? So it is very crucial to know what your numbers look like. And to even know if you want to grow in a certain area. So you've got to know if you've got the right team in place, regardless if it's accounting, um, the right staff that you have right now in front of you, or if you've got the right banker, right, that's right next to you, if you've got the right insurance agent, right? And so to have the right team in place, professionally on the side, externally, as well as internally, it's crucial for you to know the rest of your numbers for you to continue your legacy.
I love that. I love that.
Tell me, what kind of financial tools are underused by women entrepreneurs or women who own their own business? Underused.
That's very underused is definitely what I mentioned earlier is that the fraud services tools that we have, right?
Okay.
Now, it is very affordable. Some banks charge a little fee, and then some banks are offering it free, right? And I think it's because business owners they they always think, oh well, fraud is probably never going to happen, or it might not happen, um, or I'll just take the time and review my account, right? And so because of that, they don't want to sign up for it, and they all also think that it takes too much time. But really, at the end of the day, it's the same thing as you sending someone a text. It's the same thing as you enrolling into a service and it's going to send you a notification. It's the same thing like that. If something doesn't match, that service, that fraud protection service, is going to send you a notification. It's the same thing. It's going to send you a notification. You're going to review that item and you're going to know if it's going to match or not, right? you're going to be ahead of the game. So that ECH alert and that check positive pay alert is a service that a lot of business customers are definitely not utilizing today.
Okay. What can an entrepreneur do to make her banking relationship better then? So, is she using QuickBooks? Is she using some of those tools out there that makes life easier for her as an entrepreneur when it comes to banking?
I do see a lot of clients use QuickBooks, and I hear it, and I love that, they are using it and it makes
Mhm.
their life a lot easier. Now, I would always suggest that if someone that does not have an accounting degree comes to me and says, I'm doing my own accounting work for my own business,
Mhm.
I personally have a hard time understanding that because as a business owner, I feel like you should be focusing on your business, not on the accounting work, and let that expertise focus on that.
Mm.
And so
Such good advice.
I'm like, let's repeat that.
I would just love that advice. It changed everything for me when I stopped being in charge of that. I'm just telling
The spreadsheets
Yes.
that everyone wants to create.
Yes, because if you're a restaurant owner, your job is to manage that restaurant. Why are you doing the books?
That's right.
If you're a hairstylist, that's what you should be doing, not the books. And so, in order for you to really focus on your business and for your business to grow, you can't be wearing two hats. I'm sorry. Unless you really, really have that accounting background and you have the capability to do that at the end of the day, then fine. But if you're gonna be honest with me and tell me you don't have accounting background and you're just doing it because you don't want to pay for it, I'm gonna tell you and be honest with you, regardless if you like it or not, it is so worth it to pay for an accounting person just to do it.
So that you
The
can
headache
focus.
of taxes, the headache of your financials, of things not being right. No, it's not even worth it.
Mhm.
Let you focus on what you should be focusing on.
So you can build your
Yes.
legacy
Yes.
for you, for your family. Good advice.
Do you think that men approach banking differently than women? And if so, how? Like, as entrepreneurs going in, how do you think that shows?
Yes. Yes. They do. And it still happens today. We think that that's probably has stopped, but it does not.
How do women start being more confident in their path?
Yes.
What questions should we be asking?
So as a woman, you know, business owner, I think we just need to forget and tell ourselves and say, hey, I could go to the bank and I will be qualified for a loan.
That's right.
I should be able to go in there and tell them, give them my proposal. And regardless if they like it or not, I know what I'm confident with, what I'm going in with. And I should be able to present to them and see what I can do because this is me. Like it shouldn't matter if I'm female or male.
That's right. So how does that show up for you? Are you able to assist in that when you're, especially like one of the things we love about you is you're such a great supporter of the Glass Ceiling Foundation and, part of Women Venture, part of their board. You show up for that. And how does tell us a little bit about you and how you show up in the community to assist women in having that boldness, that security, that longer tail on a
Thank
design.
you. Thank you. For me personally, I just grew up, second oldest of nine and the oldest daughter, right? So that really helped me to just be very confident and be a strong female. And I think because my father was also very abusive. And so I always just, growing up in that environment just really made me the person who I am, where I'm like, nope, no man should ever be like that. No men will, talk to me that way. No men should ever, just be like that. Right. And so it just really turned me into who I am. And so for me to show up in the community is where, I'm always networking in the Asian community, telling like, hey,
Because
why
Asian community, the
it's very
women are meant,
yes,
and I'm putting my hands down, like you're meant to be quiet
correct,
and pretty
correct.
small.
We are in the Asian community, even still, we are meant to not have an opinion. We are still, even when we go to certain rooms, when we're eating, we are still, not able to be first in line to eat, right? Men are still supposed to get in line first to eat, right? And yeah, and so it still is very hard, and we're still trying to fight with that barrier, right? And so slowly we are getting ahead of that, right? We're still fighting with our Asian men. And for me to just go into these room, and a lot of times I do get looked down on upon, right? And I get questioned because these men that are in the room question my marriage, right? Where they always say, whoa, does she wear the pants in the family? That's what gets out of it, right? And it's really not who wears the pants of the family. It's really if there is a mutual respect between your marriage, it shouldn't matter who wears the pants of the family.
That's right.
It
We both
respect,
both-
right? Yeah.
or we both wear the skirt in the family.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. Doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So just I love that you are really that example, that proof. We need more women that are like you, especially in the banking world, that are offering us evidence that we can be bold. And bold just keeps coming up when I think of you. You're sweet and not. I mean, I love that you have a confidence, and I've seen it in every room that I've been in with you. There's a confidence about you, and it's not a pushy. It's not I don't think we have to be. We can be bold without being masculine. We can be confident without losing our femininity. And I appreciate that about you, and the rooms that we get to share, and also the rooms that each of us get to lead into. So well done on that. I agree. So
Yeah, you're amazing. One thing that I just thought of as we were discussing profitability. Anyway, do we need to look at profitability as a tool? And why aren't we?
Yeah. As women's, business owners, yeah, we do, because how do we, if we're not looking at that.
I mean, we always think of profitability as an end game versus we need to have profit in order to move our businesses
We do.
forward. And that's why we have banks, so that we can kind of track it almost.
Yeah, because sometimes we forget that, I mean, yes, we all start our business because we have our passion, we have a goal, and that's why we start something, right? But we should also remember that we've got to put profit in there as well. And we have to look at that too. On top of why we love what we do, we need to also continue, like that should be in our top, it's not an five or something.
Yeah.
Like it's just, yeah,
It should be number one.
yeah, it's not an option. It should still
Right?
be there.
100%.
Yes, yeah, it should be there.
Well, it shouldn't be an option because
right.
sometimes I think that what happens when we get into a business, we have this desire, right? We have this burning desire. We have something that we think we can create value in the world with this product or offer that we're going to do. But if we're not creating profit, then I mean, we might as well be a nonprofit, to be honest. I mean, and not that nonprofits don't offer value, because I think that that's our first and foremost. When we look at Glass Ceiling Foundation, what value are we adding to the community? But as a business owner, if you are in a for-profit business, then that should be the first thing you're doing. How do you create profit in your business? Now, what I've seen, at least in my business and many people around me, is that sadly, passion was the driver.
Yes.
And when passion's the driver, there comes a point, and I've been in business for 19 years, there comes a point where you start to flatline, right? Passion will only get you so far. But if we're not going into a business with our first and foremost being, how can I create profit
Mhm.
through my passion,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to always get to
Yeah.
a place where your business is going to start to flatline and start to go down. And then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I need profit in this business to continue my passion.
Yeah, that's why I think you gotta really ask yourself as a business owner, like, is profit number one for you, or is passion number one for you? You know, is that passion for you, or is advice? You know, which one is number one for you? Well, because you all started your business because of a passion. So, which one is more important? I mean, I know my there's a eyelash lady of mine that she started doing eyelashes, and now she's teaching eyelashes now for a living. And she did it again for a passion, but then now she's doing it for profit. She was like, I did it because I just wanted to help put lashes on people, but now she's like, it's all about money. I mean, I still enjoy it. Don't get me wrong, I still love it, but now it's all about money. I just teach students now.
That's right. And I think that's okay. I think
Yeah,
we got to stop saying that we're in it to serve.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, if you're in it to serve, serve a community.
Yeah.
But if we have to start saying,
Yeah.
I am doing this
Yeah.
business to make money.
Yeah, so she just flipped it, you know,
Right.
where profit's number one, and her, you know, her value, her love is now number two, right? She just flipped it around.
So do you think women get passion and legacy confused?
They might. I'm pretty sure they do all the time, right? Where they might think like, if my passion is no longer there and I'm just so focused on my profit, then my legacy might go away.
Did money become the dirty word though? Why is that such a dirty word?
And it shouldn't be. Yeah.
No.
Because
That's the difference
Yeah.
between men and women. Men don't have
Men
any
don't.
problem saying, I'm in it for the money.
yes, it's
Well,
easy. Yes.
I'm not, well, I can't
It,
be in
it
it for
is.
money.
Yes, because
Mhm.
as a woman, we feel. I mean, we feel guilt.
Realizing,
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of strong
It's
women
true.
out there that see the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in general,
We do. Yeah. In general, women are afraid to ask for, or like a salary, bump.
that's right.
We're
We've been
afraid.
programmed.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we're afraid to, and if they give us a bump, we just kind of
We need to outperform.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have
Kind
to
of take it.
everyone.
Yeah.
We have to second guess ourselves.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, maybe say that.
Yeah.
That's not.
Well, yeah, stop that. Let's stop that today. One of my mentors, Tony Robbins, I love money, money loves me. I love numbers, numbers love me. The more we can just affirm that, then you know what? I am in this business to make money.
Yeah.
Now, granted, value is important to me. Serving my community is important to me. Having, a safe place for my employees. But at the end of the day, if I don't have money, I have none of that in it. So money it is the driver that keeps me coming to work every day. And if I'm not making money, I have no work to go
Yeah.
to. So and I'm not saying that's I'll do anything for that money. That's not it's that and we've talked a lot about what is the value, right? And we come into this business and we say my value is it's a passion of mine, or my value is I'm making money, and our bank account shows which value is stronger. I think that we can have passion and money at the same time. At the same time.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think that
Yeah.
that probably
No. And money can't be the devil. So no, it's not. You can't be.
No.
it can't be.
Sure.
This is such a powerful conversation. We're so honored to have you here with us. It's
I
fun
have
talking.
one last question.
Let's
If a
hear it.
woman business owner wants to build both profit and legacy, what should she focus on first?
Good question.
Thank you.
I think she really has to focus on herself, because if she doesn't really know herself at the end of the day, how does she really see her legacy of that business, like where it would go? So I think she really has to understand herself.
Yeah. I think that she needs to show up
She needs-
more in rooms like we're creating
Yeah.
with with the nonprofit that you're in. Sorry, I lost the name. Women Venture and Glass Ceiling Foundation.
Yeah, because
Those are the rooms that you have to be in. You have to get into rooms. And I was just talking to somebody yesterday about getting into rooms that stretch you. Like, I love being in rooms that make me comfortable.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, because
it's true.
I mean, who doesn't? But getting into the rooms that stretch you a little bit, use some of the skill sets that maybe aren't your top skill sets, introducing yourself to women, like Lisa and yourself that are successful in their own businesses, successful in their own lives, and gleaning information like, ooh, I could do what you're doing, or saying out loud those things that you're afraid of.
Yeah.
I think
So I think if you're not willing to, you can't get there, right? And so I think you need to really understand and tell yourself, like, okay, well, where do I want to be and who do I want to be like, right? And so in order to get to a certain room or a certain area, you've got to invite yourself there. And so you got to get there. And if no one's inviting you, invite yourself. Why not? You can't be afraid. So you got to go. Make yourself available, right? You can't just keep saying you're not available. And I get it. Sometimes we're introverted, but it's okay. There's also introverted people when you get there. And you would know who they are.
In fact, I'm an introvert.
Yeah.
I mean, people would say that I'm an extrovert, but really it's just where you get your energy. Right? So it's not even being introverted. It's that you're just, you just need to have a little bit of Pang Mee's boldness.
Yeah. I remember I was somewhere and someone had said, hey, if you want to be a millionaire, you got to hang around millionaire people. Then you will become one. I'm like, oh, I need to do that then. That's like, where are all these millionaires at? That's right. But you're right. If you want to be, bold, you want to continue,
Where the bold people.
yeah, go where those bold people are, right?
That's right.
Go where all those brave people are. Go where all those crazy people are, because you want to be in that area, right? You want to be in that space. You've got to get yourself there.
Yeah.
Great.
So good. You are one of my favorite podcast hosts or podcast guests. I've loved every minute listening to you.
Thank you.
Very good.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Yes.
Thanks.
We'll see you at a happy hour.
Yeah.
Soon.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. All right. Let's go.
Thank you so much for joining us for today's episode. If something we shared sparked a new idea, gave you a fresh perspective, or simply made you feel seen, we'd love for you to pass it on. Share this episode with a friend, a colleague, or a fellow powerhouse woman who's walking her own journey. And if you haven't yet, don't forget to subscribe so you'll never miss an episode. Until next time, keep showing up, keep rising, and remember, there's no ceiling you can't break through.